Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:10. That doesn't sound like a blessing. Persecuted? For doing what's right? We think of blessing as comfort, reward, favor. But Jesus offers something deeper, a blessing that comes not despite pain, but through it. To be persecuted for righteousness means to suffer because you chose to stand for God. You didn't compromise, you didn't bow to pressure, you lived for truth, and truth came at a cost. It may look like rejection, it may feel like loneliness, it might cost you friendships, influence, or even opportunity. But Jesus says, you are blessed, because when the world pushes you out, heaven draws you in. You're not alone in this. The prophets were mocked, the apostles were beaten, even Jesus was crucified, not for doing wrong, but for doing right. And today, there are believers around the world losing jobs, families, even their lives, not because they hate, but because they love God more than approval. But persecution isn't always loud. Sometimes it's subtle. It's the silence after you speak truth, the awkward looks when you won't go with the crowd, the pressure to hide your convictions just to fit in. So how do you respond? With love, with truth, with courage. You remember that the goal was never popularity, it was faithfulness. You remember that your reward is not just here, it's eternal. And here's what Jesus promises. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. That doesn't just mean access, it means ownership. They belong to God's kingdom, now and forever. The world may reject them, but heaven calls them family. They may lose here, but they reign with Christ there. Even when it costs you everything on earth, you already have everything in Him. So if you've been mocked for your faith, if you've lost something for doing what's right, if you've stood your ground and felt the pressure, Jesus sees you, and He calls you blessed, because you chose Him. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Stay tuned for your next video. Rejoice and be glad, for great is your reward in heaven.